Hello everyone, we got a little bit of a different type video today. We're going to be talking about how in the world do you go ahead and get started with Robinhood. So we're going to take a look at the Robinhood app and see what it has to offer. Right now I'm on the web browser, but we're going to talk about how you start an account and what this has to offer for you, what you can do in it. It's some pretty good stuff. So obviously this web page differs a little bit from the app. I do like the app and I do most of the work on the app. As far as trading, stuff like that, but I think the web browser is a neat little experience for you as well. So as far as getting started, it is a very simple process. I think a lot of people are concerned with how do I start a brokerage account. In my advice, obviously you need to get investing as soon as you can. As soon as you have money that you can start investing, set a budget aside to where you can actually set money aside every single week to where you can actually start investing. I think it's essential no matter what age you are. I think you need to start investing as early as you can because over time the markets do go up. Regardless of downtimes, you'll end up, if you are smart with your investments, you'll end up making money. As we just recently crossed $17,000, I wanted to obviously make this video as a little celebratory woohoo. And if you want to see more videos like this regarding other apps I use, go ahead and let me know and I can give you a little walkthrough tutorials on those as well. But let's take a look here at Robinhood. So setting up an account is very easy. First, you're going to go in my description there, no doubt about it, and use my code here. Obviously, because you're going to get a free stock. And guess what? I'll get a free stock because of it as well. That's right. 1 in 200 chance of getting a stock like Berkshire Hathaway, Facebook, Visa. That's a lot of cashish. Or a 1 in 10 chance of stock like GE, Sprint, or Energy Transfer. Sorry about that one. So go ahead. Obviously, you get my invite. Then we both get our free stock. Obviously, when you want to go back to the home page here, you're going to go click on this top left here. No doubt about it. So once you set up that account, it'll ask a little bit of information for you, such as like your investing experience, pretty well the basic information as far as financials, because it'll want to know a couple things about you to tailor the experience more towards you as far as what might interest you as far as investing is concerned, which is neat. After you do that, it's a very simple process. You just answer some questions. No worries there. Afterwards, you do need to link a bank. So right away, it'll prompt you to link your bank. So this is going to be your main funding source. This is where you want to pull that money from. It'll be that account. So whether it be a checking, savings, whatever account you want to pull that money from, that is what you'll link to Robinhood here. So that way you can make transfers. And it's pretty nice. So it'll probably, once you link it, you can do a one-time transfer if you want. You can also set some recurring transfers if you really want to too. So if you want to set the same aside amount every week and invest it in this account, you certainly can. Currently, I do not necessarily recurring. It's relatively recurring. I pretty much put in money every Monday, but there are some weeks where I skip if the market's particularly up that week, and I wait for a little bit of a down day, and then that's when I put my money in. But I do always try to put in money every week. So as far as putting money in, you're going to go ahead and click here on your account, and then you go into this banking tab. So overall, it's a pretty simple process. If you're looking at it on the app, it'll be in the same thing. So your account will be on your far right tab, and there will be a thing that says transfers, and obviously that'll be transferring money either to or from your bank. So here's how you initiate a transfer to or from in this banking tab, and on the phone it's a little bit different. So obviously you have your stuff, you have your stock portfolio funded. That is definitely an interesting key right there. You have to have this thing funded in order to do anything. So then the question is, well, where do I go and look at stocks, right? How do I know what to add to my portfolio? Well, obviously, you watch these videos, no doubt about it. You got to watch these videos and find out what you want to add, because I got some good advice for you, but definitely do your own research. One thing I think is neat here on the website is going to be right here. It'll actually show you some exciting popular collections, as they say. So there's a couple things you can click on if there's certain sectors you want to get involved in. So let's say right now, software is a sector that is certainly an interesting one, but also something like an energy. Obviously, diversification is key. So let's look at the energy sector and see a couple stocks that are in the energy sector that might be interesting. So obviously, you've got a couple interesting ones. And what I really like about this, and this is where the website I think is really good for this kind of market research. It'll go through and list off some of these stocks that are related to the energy field. It'll give you obviously analyst ratings and market cap as well as stock price and popularity, how many people are investing in this stock, number of people who own this stock. So obviously this right now is in order of people who own the stock. GE is right now top of the board in terms of Robinhood. Again, those numbers aren't necessarily key because I think some Robinhood investors, I don't necessarily say they're the best investors, but let's sort this by market cap. So they're going to go ahead and put Berkshire Hathaway there, obviously just because they have some energy stocks in their portfolio, which makes sense. But let's go ahead, look at the real key players here as far as that's concerned. You have an ExxonMobil. So you look at ExxonMobil, $60.68 a share. Right now only has 17% buy analyst rating, but a market cap of $260 billion. The largest market cap in terms of the stocks that are trading here. So let's take a look at this stock. So we're just going to click on this stock, which is going to be interesting. Obviously, it gives you the key tags here of what it's related to. And now we're looking at this stock. And what do we really look for? Obviously, you can look through 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, 1 year, and 5 year. If you're looking at a new stock that you're looking to get into, obviously I think the 5 year is really important to look at because it can have an impact on if you see a downtrend in that stock. Is it time to rebound? You never know. So it's definitely interesting to look at the 5 year. So if it's already on a good 5 year chart, it might be something you might be thinking about getting into. But if it's not, you might want to do some research and see if there's reason for this to bounce back. So right under that chart there, it's going to go ahead and give you a description of this company. So ExxonMobil engages in the exploration, development, and distribution of oil, gas, and petroleum products. It'll give you a little bit of an explanation here. It'll tell you the number of employees, the CEO, which the CEO is very important as far as a company is concerned. You definitely want to get to know some CEOs if you're investing in the company. It'll show you the headquarters, when the company was founded, so it's a very long-standing company. Obviously, one of the most important aspects right now is obviously the price-to-earnings ratio. It's one of the best ways to value the company, and it'll give you the dividend yield, so that's a percentage of the stock that's paid back to shareholders. So obviously dividends are a thing I'm very keen on. If you look at any of my previous videos, I do talk pretty highly of dividends, so keep an eye out for stuff like that, videos regarding that. But dividend yield is another important stat, and these are really just the important stats that it shows. If we click show more here, it'll show a couple other things such as 52-week highs, 52-week lows, volume today, open price, low price, high price, and obviously your average volume there too. So we can click show less on that. It'll show you what collections they're in, what they're related to. So that's an interesting thing. And then I like on the bottom here this news tab as well. So pretty much it'll give you any sort of related news regarding the stock. Personally, I use a separate news app, but if you were looking at stocks just on this app, you certainly could do this, and it gives you plenty of different articles here. Then we have analyst ratings from buy, hold, sell. It'll give you the percentage of analysts that are actually voting on the stock. This has 23 ratings on it right now. So it'll give you some bull ratings and some bear ratings here. So what they say, interesting stuff there. So then it'll give you a snapshot of their earnings, which I think are pretty interesting. So obviously it's important to look at these earnings a couple years back. It'll give you an idea of what this company's pulling down. If this company's losing in terms of EPS, so earnings per share, how much profit they're bringing in, you might be able to question that, take a little research and see what's going on. If they're missing these estimates, so these pretty much fade through dots are your estimate, and these solid orange dots are your actual. So on top of that over here, right to the right here, you can replay their earnings call too, which earnings calls are essential to listen to with stocks, so definitely keep an eye on that. And then we have a related tab at the very bottom here. So it'll tell you stocks that are related to that, or people also bought is what they'll call it. So stocks similar to it. Over on the right here, obviously, is your how you place buy orders. So you can say how many shares you want to buy. It'll show you your buying power here on the bottom, so you can have an idea of how much you can buy. Over here, obviously, you can set your type of order. Market order means you buy it right at the market price. Limit order means you set a price that you want to buy it at. A stop loss order would be if it drops to a certain price. That's when you're buying it at. And so on and so forth. Really, I would suggest sticking with the limit order if you're talking about that. Definitely go for that. ExxonMobil is a pretty interesting stock, but at some point they are going to be adding fractional shares as well, so you don't necessarily have to say, in my case, I can only buy 2 shares, but ideally I could buy, pretty much only 2 shares, but I could buy like 2.01 shares if I had fractional shares, if you really wanted to. So that's it for what it'll show you specifically on a stock. Let's go back to the home page, take another look at what this has to offer. So obviously on your right side, it'll show you every stock you have in your portfolio. Right here, you can sort by whatever you'd like to. So it could be total return, today's return, or equity in it. So how much that position's worth. It'll show you that on the right instead of just the stock price. Right now, I just have it set to stock price because that's really what I want to look at. I don't care. Total return, I can look on a particular stock, which we will. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple real quick. So let's show a stock I own and what this looks like. It's a little bit different for you because it actually has this tab here, which shows my equity, how much this position's worth. It'll show you your the cost of all the shares together, of what you paid for it. It'll show you today's return, your total return, which is a position since the beginning, so 93.36% return or $784 return. And it'll show you how many shares you have, your average cost, so that's your cost basis, how much you paid on average per share, and it shows you how much of your portfolio that it makes up. So this makes up right around 9.5% of my portfolio. This Apple position does. So interesting stuff. So that's really all that adds. If it's a position you already own. So here on your right here underneath your portfolio, obviously you can see your all-time if you would like to. This guy's up 35.34% all-time, which is since July of 2017. Pretty nice. I like that. Up $4,400. Right under this, though, you go ahead and you can see this is pretty much another news tab. It'll show you anything going on with your portfolio in this little tab here, slide by slide, which is pretty exciting. And again, another just overall news article tab. It'll show you some top movers, what's moving up and down, which is exciting because I think sometimes you can really buy a stock based off of them moving up or down. So if a stock's moving super far down, you might be able to catch it on a rebound, or if it's moving very far up, you might need to see what's going on that and see if that thing's going to bounce back down. So interesting. Obviously, we have just a lot of news down here, which is very fun stuff as well. So that's really it for your homepage. I think it's a very interesting little homepage. What else does this thing have to offer? Well, obviously, you click on your portfolio. It'll bring you back to your homepage again as well. You see this tab for cash. It is Robinhood banking. So Robinhood banking is pretty much you put money in and you earn money for having it in there. Pretty much you yield as much as you would. Like having money in a bank, you're earning a yield just for having the cash in there, and you actually get this debit card here where you can spend money off of your account as well, and that money is freely able to be invested at the same time, so it's a little bit of a convenience there. Next we have messages, which pretty much gives you ideas of what's going on here. So thank you. So it gave me a little message here on Valentine's Day, a couple of them, that says, since I own 20 shares of OHI, ticker symbol OHI, I received a dividend payment of $13.40. So then I say, hooray. Woo. That's the response. Abby says, I got that. But then I ask, what is a dividend? And it's going to say wow, I can learn more here, and then it'll link me to an article to show me a little bit more about dividends. So that's exciting stuff too. Then really the main functions here. You see a lot that goes into this account tab. Obviously we have Robinhood Gold. So if we click on that, Robinhood Gold is pretty much a premium version of Robinhood. I don't currently use it, but it offers you certainly a couple different things for it. So it's a $5 per month fee. Your first 30 days are free. So it obviously gives you more availability to in-depth research. So you can see a lot more research through that Market 2 level 2 market data. So it's interesting. You get a lot better in terms of statistics. I use a separate website anyway, so it's not necessarily something that benefits me. You can have larger instant deposits, up to $5,000. I don't deposit that much typically. The most I've ever deposited originally was $2,000 to start off. You can invest with margin, which I don't necessarily ever advise because that is simply investing with money that you do not have. So I don't suggest that at all. And obviously your level 2 market data, which is very fun stuff. That's Robinhood Gold for you. Let's go back into this account thing. So what else can it really show you? So I would say the next best thing to look at here is going to be your history. So we'll look at the history of this bad boy and see what's going on. So your history tab pretty much will show you anything from earned dividends to stocks you have purchased, which I think is pretty exciting. At this point, clearly it doesn't want to load, but that'll be okay if it doesn't. Regardless, pretty much you'll see the same thing as in your messages tab, which naturally it's not too happy with me. Of course it's unresponsive, so let's wait for these pages to respond. And there she is, as we wait for her to respond. So get rid of that messages tab. So pretty much, I have it set up so my first thing here is going to be my upcoming dividends. So I have an upcoming pending dividend from Apple Hospitality coming in on the 18th. So once the market opens back up, actually. So that's super exciting, very super exciting. So can't wait for that. $5, and the next day $1.24. Then we get a nicer position here in March 2nd. So it'll give you the data when it's coming in. You can really sort this by however you want: transfers, by orders, by dividends, by rewards, or stock transfer. Stock transfer obviously being from another platform or transferring to another platform. It'll show you dividends here, and it'll show you stuff like purchases or sells. So recently I sold my Glue mobile market sell, 9 shares at $7.33. Overall, sold it for a profit, which is nice, I guess. I obviously missed a little bit more of a run-up, but this was a dog of a stock in my portfolio. I'm glad I got rid of it. I was holding on to it for quite a while, but eventually ended up making profit on this. Nothing too crazy. And stuff like your market buys, it'll tell you at what rate. And how many shares you purchased. So that's interesting. Fun stuff. Naturally here you also have your documents, so that'll show you your account statements. So every month obviously you get an account statement. It'll show you pretty much the portfolio value, any transactions you made, as well as any sort of dividends earned, stuff like that, which is pretty exciting. We have our free stocks tab, as we looked at before. We love our free stocks tab, as long as you use my code. And that frankly is really it for as far as you're concerned with this app. Obviously another main function, which I didn't even mention, is the search tab here. So if you're looking for a stock in particular, so you're a huge fan of, let's say, well, what do we like to look up? We want to look up Virgin Galactic because everyone's into that stock right now. So just search it. Oh no, we can't type here. So Virgin Galactic here, ticker symbol SPC. So let's take a look at it. Now we're in. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. We love to see it. Very simple. I mean, you can search by whatever you really want. Obviously, you can look at 100 most popular. So stuff like that. It'll show you every single stock. So the most owned stock is freaking Aurora Cannabis. Oh gosh, these bag holders, they're insane. What can I say? Just be careful, guys, when you're investing in these stocks. Stock price being cheap does not mean it's good. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean it's good. Sometimes you got to save up. So I think that's really it as far as what I want to talk about for this app. Overall, pretty exciting. It's a very good app. I really like it for pretty much just anything I could use for it. I'm a fan of it. There's no doubt about it. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative. If you want to see another one on any of the other apps I use, go ahead and let me know, and I can certainly let you know. I also use M1 Finance and Stash. Let me know if you want to see videos on those.